Hello, America. Dave Hodges here, host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that's freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Thank you so much for joining us. Really good to be with you. Hey, we're going to continue with the next segment that's an extension of what this 51-year-old pastor saw in a near-death experience, which really parallels a combination of two presentations I've made before regarding the beast system, mark of the beast, and so forth. And then we're going to culminate this presentation with what Whitney Webb is saying, which very close to what I have said as well too. And I'll tell you, it's when people are telling you the same things over and over, it might be time to listen. Anyway, we are brought to you by a way to make a lot of money. Well, no, it's not the name of a company. It's a concept. It's a situation that the rich and famous use to become even more rich and famous. But it's completely ethical, it's completely above board, and it takes advantage of IRS code 7702. And I'm talking about what Joe Lombardi can do for you, and he's the head of Iron Hawk Financial. And what they do is they do a combination of things like IULs, end of life planning, insurance, okay, all these things. And I'm not going to go into great detail. He will. And all these things combined will create revenue, generated income. This is fantastic. And it's tax free, covered by Section 7702. Sounds too good to be true? Well, we've got people coming right here from our audience who are engaged in this and doing quite well. We've even had a couple of people from here start with the program with the IULs, I think in particular, and they're now working for Joe. It's absolutely fantastic what's happening with this. And I'll tell you, the rich and famous don't like it because wealth is relative. If I have a quarter and you have a quarter, we're the same. If I have a quarter, you have a nickel, I'm rich, you're not. And that's what they want. They want that differentiation, and this really levels the playing field. Now, this is not for someone who's going to say, I got $50 to throw in. No, 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 no. This is a very, very big deal. It's a redirection of income, insurance, the whole thing. And the whole process does take 30 to 60 days because it's complicated. And it takes someone like Joe to navigate you through it. There's absolutely no pressure. In fact, they'll tell you in the first 5 minutes if this is for you or not for you, and they'll tell you why. Want to find out more? I think you should. You owe it to your family. Go to dhawk.com, fill out your contact information, get the ball rolling. dhawk.com. Well, this pastor came out and he said some things I really agree with. I talked in the last segment about the need for discernment, okay? And I'm going to tell you, discernment for me comes one other area, and I wanted to save this for this segment. Something Peter Thiel has said. No, not the failure to acknowledge the fact that humanity has a right to survive. It's another thing he said. He said, if you regulate AI, you'll bring on the Antichrist. And that comment came out of left field, like Netanyahu's next day denial about we had nothing to do with Charlie. And people looked at that and said, isn't that odd? Well, and that's how I looked at this too. You're making a warning here that wasn't even called for. Shakespeare comes to mind. I think thou doth protest too loudly. I think what we're looking at here is he knows this is how the Antichrist could come in. Mark of the beast, AI, data center infrastructure. And I think he knows. And so he took the inverse position and basically said, no, 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 that's not going to happen. Don't regulate AI. Please don't regulate AI. Right there, that tells me we need to be putting guardrails on this, and the humans need to be in control and control how far it goes. Okay, now into what the pastor said. I agree with what he's saying because it's what I feel. We need to develop discernment and learn to hear the word of God. John 10:27 says, the sheep will hear my voice. In other words, the people that follow the Lord will hear him, but you have to listen. And he said that he was shown there'll be false flag deceptions to usher in the mark of the beast. He's more general than I'm going to be in the final segment, much more general. But the thing that I'm going to say to you here, I think is really clear, is that what he is saying here parallels presentations I've made and what now Whitney Webb is saying. And I've never quoted Whitney Webb before. I don't think I've ever mentioned her before, but someone sent me the link and said, Dave, you've talked about this. And I looked at it and I said, "Wow, pretty amazing." We'll discuss what Whitney was saying later, and I'll add in my own 2 cents. But back to this pastor is right on the money with what he's saying, in my humble opinion. He said this will be ushered in through a false flag deception. It'll be, he said, this is what he saw: a cyber attack followed by digital control is a magical answer, because they'll have global leaders come on all these screens, your TV, your text messaging, everything, and you're going to get the message. We can save humanity. This is what we got to do. We got to go to digital control to protect us from the dangerous people that did this. Uh-oh. If you refuse to fall into line and do this, you're a danger. Didn't we hear that about 6 years ago with a big event? Exactly. So that's why some people say it was a dress rehearsal. Um, Dangerous people. Um, he talked about pastors will sell out. Some already have, in my opinion, and you know what I feel about that. He said, but the word of God will become crystal clear to a lot of people. There'll be remnants gathering together in places like barns and basements. And he said that they're not going to be able to buy or sell because they wouldn't take the mark. And the mark was sold to them as convenience, a way to save yourself, humanity. It's the responsible thing to do, is what he was told. And the global leaders just kept saying, we have the solution. You got to do this. Now, here's the interesting part. Hear me and hear me clearly. The pastor talks about Revelation 14, 9 through 10. And what he says is, once you take the mark, there's no 30-day return. It's permanently warranted. You've got it forever. And that's what it says in Revelation 14, 9, 10. You will suffer the wrath of God. So once you make that decision and cross that line, my family's got to eat. Give me the mark. That's when you're doomed. That's what the Bible tells us. That's very clear. Um, he says very clearly, this pastor said, people will reach their limits. They can't buy or sell. This is terrible. But he said, this is when God will provide. He went through and he listed a series of miracles that he saw, like contaminated water turning pure and pristine so people could drink it, food magically being donated to the people who weren't with the mark of the beast. And of course, there'll be underground movements, but the surveillance state, I want to remind you, that's being set up right now will be all pervasive. Okay, now, Jesus says in these tough times, and they will be tough, you need to follow me or you'll suffer eternal damnation. That's pretty stunning stuff. And this pastor was, you could hear the emotion in his voice. I mean, he was like exuding confidence Jesus is there, but fear about the things that are coming. And I would remind that pastor, hey, Matthew 24, fear not. Okay. Well, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Dave Hodges' ideas here. And we're going to talk about Whitney Webb and what she said. And you know, I don't have any problems with Whitney Webb at all. I just have never crossed paths topically with her before. But on this instance, it's pretty remarkable how close we are and how it parallels the two parts you've heard from this pastor. I'm Dave Hodges. This is the Common Sense Show, and we will see you back here next time. Make sure, if you haven't done so, that you go and sign up for our TV show, Hiding in Plain Sight series. A lot of fun, but it's geopolitics and mysteries of the mind and all kinds of interesting things. TheCommonSenseShow.tv. And if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, do that as well. It's a capitulation of everything we do for the past 24 hours. And all you got to do to sign up is go to thecommonsenseshow.com, click the upper right-hand corner, and that link right there, click it on, and then put in your email, and you'll get yours every single day. It's free and it serves over 50,000 people. We'll see you back here next time.